to the sister who played Nkoye. Okay? Allegedly, some of our African actors participated in some interviews where they spoke negatively about African Americans portraying continental Africans in various roles in Hollywood. And from what I've been told, Lupita and others said they did not really like the way African Americans portrayed Africans on the big screen. In other words, quote, it sounded as if they were suggesting that African Americans are not good enough to play African roles. Okay? To Lupita, Nkoye, Daniel from Get Out, Shuri, all of you, and I think Shuri's from South America, here's what I want to say to Africans coming to America for Hollywood and other reasons. If you come here and you try to disrespect us when you're standing on the progress of struggle that we died for, there's a whole history that goes with blacks in Hollywood. There's a whole history that goes with the African American struggle to gain access into Hollywood and to play positive roles and to star in their own films. It did not start with y'all. It started with us. So respectfully, Lupita, please watch your damn mouth, because although I am a Pan-Africanist, you will not disrespect my sisters by saying they cannot play you, but yet you have no problem playing us. Let me say it again. You will not disrespect American African women by saying they're not good enough to play you, but yet you have no problem playing us. Those type of comments are disrespectful of the black struggle that paved the way for you. Those types of comments are disrespectful of the experiences that American Africans have had prior to the opportunities that you received. Make no mistake, you're only in Hollywood because we opened the doors for you. Make no mistake, you can only do what you do in America because we laid down and died for the right to do that. So don't you dare come here and disassociate yourself from us. Because if you do that, I will reject your ass. And won't nobody come see your movies. Okay? That's just a warning. Come here as an African. See us as African. Embrace us as African. But the minute you try to start a tribalism issue between Africans from Africa and African descendants of the enslaved, I will expose your ass, because under the umbrella of Pan-Africanism, I will not tolerate no African. I will not tolerate no African Caribbean. I will not tolerate no Africans in the UK. I will not tolerate no African American disrespecting another population. You will not. I don't care who do it. Whether it's Africans in America, Africans in Africa, I don't want to hear no divisive talk. We are in this together. We are all we got. The white man don't give a damn whether you from Africa or not. Genocide means the extermination of the entire race. Genocide means the extermination of the entire race. Not just us and not just you. So if you come with that European T'Challa type mentality, we will reject you. With that being said, I'm proud of my African actors. I love them as much as our African American actors. And our African American actors need to get your act together and stop complaining. Stop complaining about people taking your roles when you don't want to be who you are. I want to go to something. I did not appreciate two things in the movie. Well, a couple things. We already talked about the CIA. Why did the Jabari tribe, M'Baku's people, the gorilla people, why did they have to go around barking like gorillas? Was that necessary? What was the purpose of having them bark like gorillas? Now, I haven't studied every African culture, but I've studied a lot, and I'm not aware of any African culture that barks like animals. I'm not aware of that. So I need Brother Coogler, Marvel Disney, because I know Ryan didn't make all these decisions himself. The producer controls, not the director. I need somebody to explain to me why it was necessary to have our brothers barking like apes. Why was that necessary? Why was it necessary for M'Baku to make a joke about feeding Agent Ross to his children? And then, of course, he cleared it up and said we're all vegan. So I did appreciate that because I thought it was a sarcastic way of dismissing the European notion that Africans are cannibals. You can't prove it. Go to countries with severe epidemics of hunger and famine, and Africans still don't eat each other. You can't show it. Go to any place where there's been famine, you cannot find a single incident of an African eating the flesh of another African. Okay. Am I to say it absolutely never has happened? No. There's always some variation in human experience, but there's no way you're going to convince me that that was something that we did regularly and ritualistically, because human flesh has always been a taboo in every African culture. So I did appreciate how he cleaned it up and said we're vegetarian. That was powerful. But at the same time, I don't know if the joke needed to be made at all. And I definitely don't think they need to be barking like gorillas. But then on top of that, well, they wasn't doing a chant. They were doing the gorilla growl or grunt is what they were doing. The other thing I didn't appreciate was the two elders in the movie who had the big cup in the lip. And I'm very, very, I've studied. There are different cultures in Africa where the decorations, the nose, the ears, the lip, that's real. That is very real. Okay. And I respect those cultures. But I feel that one of the reasons that was injected in the movie was to try to, despite all the technology and intelligence in Wakanda and within African people, I still felt that there was a need by Hollywood. I still felt that there was some sort of agenda or thirst by Marvel and Disney to try to portray African people as somehow primitive and uncivilized. It was still in the movie. Okay? It was still there. That whole Hollywood a legacy of trying to represent us as some sort of infantile people, some sort of population stuck between being half man and half monkey. I felt that was there. They highlighted the greatness, but they still took shots at us. I'll give you another one. Do you remember the nightclub scene when Ulysses Claw walked in to trade the titanium with Agent Ross? And Ulysses Claw walked in with a whole entourage? What did Agent Ross say? Did you catch what he said? Agent Ross said, I see you have a whole entourage with you. Do you have a mixtape coming out? Did y'all catch that? Did y'all catch that? He said, you have a whole entourage with you. Do you have a mixtape? Now, the only people who put out mixtapes are rappers. And of course, rappers are known to have large entourages. What was the purpose of that? See, you got to study these movies because every frame and every cut and every edit and every prop and every statement has an intent to communicate a certain idea to the mind of the viewer. To the mind of the viewer. And I need to say that I have a problem with those of you who had a problem with those brothers and sisters who put out petitions to ask Marvel Disney to pay some reparations to black folks. Yes, they should pay reparations to black folks. Do you know how long Disney and Marvel have been exploiting, co-opting, misrepresenting African people and African culture for financial gain? Do you not remember the Disney cartoons where they was cooking black people? Do you not remember the Tasmanian devil? Does anybody even know why they created a Tasmanian devil It was a racist caricature. You know that little small black thing that was just running all around? A Tasmanian devil. That was a racist caricature of the Tasmanian people of Australia. There's an island off the coast of Australia known as Tasmania, where the British went in and exterminated every living man, woman, and child. The British went in and exterminated every man, woman, and child in Tasmania. And Walt Disney crowned the genocide by creating a cartoon of the exterminated people, the Tasmanian devil. Are you people crazy? You damn right they owe us reparations. See, the problem with Negroes is we're so used to being taken advantage of. The problem with Negroes is we're so used to being exploited that when somebody says we need to be compensated, the rest of us rush to the defense of our oppressors. The rest of us rush to the defense of our oppressors. If you don't think we need compensation, keep that to yourself. If you don't think Disney or Marvel owes black people compensation, keep your damn mouth shut. Why must you speak against something that ain't bothering you? You damn right they owe us. Not only do they owe us for the negative portrayals of African people throughout the Disney cartoons, they owe us for the fact that they stole the African Orisha deities from Nigeria and turned them into superheroes. Yes, the original pantheon of the Marvel Universe is the exact same pantheon of the Orisha cosmological system of the Yoruba. Yes. Let's start with Charles Xavier. Charles Xavier is the elder of the X-Men. He's the father of the X-Men. His spiritual gift is mentalism. He can use consciousness to control other people's thoughts. He's the elder of the X-Men. You know where they stole that concept from? They stole it from the father of the Orisha, Obatala. Orisha in La, who wears all white, is the father of the Orisha, is responsible for creating man, is the fashioner of all heads. He's responsible for all children with deformities. X-Men. Obatala is responsible for all children with deformities. The X-Men. Obatala is responsible for all children with unique gifts and deformities. Remember, the X-Men are considered quote-unquote freaks. Obatala is the father of all heads, and he is the father in particularly of children who have quote-unquote unique talents or deformities. Xavier is Obatala. Let's keep on going. Storm, the female energy that creates and sustains the cycles of life. Hurricanes, tornado, strong wind. Who is that? That is the Orisha Oya, the goddess mother of the wind, the creator of the cycles of change, the blesser of the courts of finance, the guardian of the cemeteries, and the leader of the Agungun ancestor order. They stole that. Let's keep on going. Thor and Superman. Thor and Superman are manifestations of Shango energy. Look at Thor. Thor's colors are what? Red and yellow. Thor's weapon is what? A double-sided axe. Thor always travels with the what? Thor travels with the lightning. Whenever you see a poster of Thor, you see the double-sided axe, you see the lightning, you see the red and gold uniform. Well, whose colors is red and gold? Shango. Who is the repository of masculine energy? Shango. Who has a double-sided axe? Shango. Whose element is thunder and lightning? Shango. Oh, these are all coincidences, right? These are all coincidences, right? These are all coincidences, right? In the Justice League, you had what? Olokun. Okay, Aquaman. Aquaman, the masculine male energy that resides at the bottom of the ocean. That is Olokun. And Olokun can also be represented as female, but is often represented as male. Olokun means the owner of all water. Olokun is the second most powerful Orisha, second only to Obatala, because whereas Obatala created the earth, Olokun controls the water, and there's much more water than earth. Aquaman is Olokun. Let's go to Wolverine. Wolverine is next, whose name happens to be Ogun. Logan, Ogun. Take the L off of Logan, Ogun. When Wolverine gets mad, 3 machetes come out of each fist. Ogun is the waver of 2 machetes. His divine number is 3. Ogun is the manifestation of iron. He's the energy of iron. Okay? It is the energy of persistence, determination, production. He is the warrior Orisha, just like Logan with the 3 machetes and Magoon with his 3 machetes. They stole the entire Orisha pantheon and turned it into the damn X-Men and turned it into the Marvel comic universe. Yes, they owe us. Yes, they owe us. And black teachers, you need to do an entire series on teaching your children how they stole the deities of West Africa and turned them into the superheroes of Marvel Comics. Facts. 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 You better believe they owe us. Oh, you better believe they owe us. But as I was starting to say earlier, the significance of the gorilla tribe is the fact that the real vibranium, coltan, okay, columbium, okay, there's 8 major countries in Africa that have gorillas. There's 8 major countries in Africa that have gorillas. 2 of the 8 is the Congo and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The ape is significant because it shows that the vibranium was coltan, that it was columbium, the true secret metal of technological and militaristic advancement. And those monkeys, those gorillas, the gorilla tribe to me is symbolic of the fact that vibranium is really columbium, and it comes from the Congo, which is one of the nations in Africa with one of the highest populations of primates and gorillas. And check this out. Check this out. Gorillas in the Congo are almost extinct. Gorillas in the Congo are approaching extinction. Okay? Does anybody want to know why? Why are the gorillas in the Congo approaching extinction? The reason the gorillas in the Congo are approaching extinction is because the warlords that the CIA pays to steal the coltan are killing the gorillas to protect themselves in the jungle as they mine for the coltan and to protect themselves in the jungle as they fight the other gangs. So gorillas have become collateral damage. Listen to me. This is the significance of the gorilla in the Black Panther movie. Gorillas are increasingly becoming an endangered species in both the Congo and the Democratic Republic of the Congo because the gangs are killing them off as collateral damage as part of their war against each other to get the coltan to the CIA. Facts. 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 I'm about to bring this to a close. I got so much here. I didn't get to everything. But a few more points. I'll probably do a part 2. I'm going to do a part 2 to the Black Panther, okay? I'm going to do a part 2. Okay? I'm going to definitely do a part 2. But let me say this. This is going to blow your mind. This is going to blow your mind. When the movie comes on, they talk about how the Panther goddess Bast blessed the Wakandan people with the purple heart herb and the vibranium, which allows the kings to become the Black Panther. Bast is a deity of Kemetic origin, right? Ancient Kemet, Egypt. We also know that all cats originate in ancient Kemet. It's a scientific fact. Ancient Kemet is the land of the cat. Kittens. They were the first to domesticate the kittens as well. But here's what I want you to get. Here's some more symbolism in the movie, which is why you got to be politically educated to decode and decipher these movies. This is about to blow your mind. Bast is responsible for the Wakandan people's ability to mine and use vibranium to become technologically sophisticated. I want you to draw a parallel. Guess what is the name? Guess what is the name? Guess what is the name of the American company which is the largest seller of the real vibranium, coltan? What is the name of the United States company which is the world's largest supplier of coltan, the real vibranium? The name of the company is K-E-M-E-T. Kemet. The company that is stealing the coltan is actually named Kemet. Look at the parallel. The goddess Baz blesses the Wakandan people with the metal that they can use to develop themselves in a manner no other country can. The American company Kemet supplies the whole world with coltan, the real vibranium, so everyone around the world can make weapons of mass destruction and can technologically advance its country while it keeps Africa as a second and third world nation. Look at the symbolism there. Just like you had a parallel between Eric Killmonger and Shaka Zulu, you have the parallel between the goddess Bass and the American company Kemet. And speaking of Eric Killmonger, did you notice that Agent Ross said Eric Killmonger is a graduate of MIT? Did y'all catch that? Eric Killmonger was a graduate of MIT. Did y'all catch that? Eric Killmonger was not just a soldier. According to CIA agent Ross, he was also trained in how to destabilize countries. And if he's trained in how to destabilize countries, that means he can also do what? Destabilize America. If Eric Killmonger was trained by the United States government and the CIA in the art of destabilizing countries, based on what I got from Agent Ross, Eric Killmonger was a paid assassin for the United States government. Eric Killmonger was a killer for hire by the United States. He was a mercenary for the international banking cartel, a CIA mercenary trained in the art of destabilizing countries whose foreign policies are not favorable to America. You know what that means? He's not only used to kill, he is intelligent. Eric Killmonger is just as intelligent as T'Challa's sister Zuri. In fact, if you give Eric Killmonger that vibranium, who knows what that brother might be able to create? He graduated from MIT. How many brothers in the military graduated from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology? For those of you who don't know, this is the leading university in America responsible for video games, military assimilation training, bombs, nuke missiles, modernizing military equipment. Eric Killmonger went to MIT. So guess what? If that brother would have had a chance to lead Wakanda, you can best believe Wakanda would have took over the world. He was the example of how you learn everything your enemy has to teach. Eric Killmonger learned everything his enemy had to teach him so he could one day use it for the benefit of the Pan-African struggle, brother. Eric Killmonger, there's so much you can do with the character of Eric Killmonger. He knew from the day his father was murdered by his uncle and they abandoned him, just like King Shaka, he knew he would eventually go back to Africa. But before I go back, let me learn everything that the white man knows. Let me learn his military. Let me learn his science. Let me learn his CIA. So when I go back to Africa, I'm not just going back with philosophy. I'm not just going back with the ideology of Pan-Africanism. I'm going back with the militaristic and technical know-how on how to take that country back. Powerful. Powerful. Some of y'all didn't even realize the brother went to MIT. He wasn't some gangster off the street who just wanted to kill. That brother knew how to use America's strategy against America. He was playing chess. He was playing chess while T'Challa was playing checkers. He was playing chess while T'Challa was playing checkers. Under T'Challa, Wakanda gonna be gone. They done told that white man everything there is to know about their secrets. They would have never learned that stuff under Killmonger. Now I know what y'all gonna say. Y'all gonna say, but wait a minute, Doc. This brother shot his own girlfriend. He murdered the African priests. Forrest Whitaker stabbed him. He choked the sister responsible for cultivating the purple herb. He disrespected all the women. Of course, they had to write that into the script. If they did not write into the script Eric Killmonger's disrespect of everything African people hold sacred, he would have been the protagonist. They had to protect T'Challa as the protagonist. The CIA could not let a Pan-Africanist be the protagonist. In the first Marvel movie with a main black character, they couldn't allow that. So of course he shot his girlfriend. There they go again, symbolizing the black man's hatred for the black woman. Pushing the stereotype that black men don't value black women. As far as Killmonger was concerned, his girlfriend was collateral damage in the fight. That was Hollywood. That was CIA trickery to make you hate the man who fighting for your freedom and love the man who don't give a damn about you. That was the CIA entertainment industry liaison. They had to write that in there. I don't think Ryan Coogler wanted to do that, but he ain't have no choice because it ain't his money that made the movie. He didn't want to do that, but he didn't have no choice. It wasn't his money that made the movie. They had to make Killmonger extremely disrespectful of African culture because they needed to prove a point. Of course he choked the sister. They had to write that in. Of course he made the sister burn up the purple herb. Of course he killed the priest. How you gonna kill an African priest and become king? That's ridiculous. African democracy is the king, okay, the elders, in the village itself. The king, the elders, and the village itself. That's where the United States got the presidency, the Senate, and the Supreme Court. They stole it from us. The executive branch, the legislative branch, the judicial branch. That's based on African culture, where you have the Nana, the Oba, the king. You have the elders. You have the queen mother, who's even more powerful than the king. And you have the people. Our kingdoms are not ran like European kingdoms, which brings up another point. In Africa, there's no such thing as two cousins fighting for the throne. That's precisely why you have matrilineal societies and patrilineal societies. Let me say that again. That was some white man stuff right there. That was some white man stuff. They clearly took that from Europe. In Africa, you don't fight for the throne. It's a bloodline inheritance. In Africa, you do not fight for the throne. It is a bloodline inheritance. Matrilineal society means the mother's lineage is responsible for determining who the next king will be based on birth. Patrilineal society, the king's bloodline determines who will be the next king on birth. There is no fighting for the throne. Now, that was Hollywood. There is no fighting for the throne. So if there's no fighting for the throne, why was there fighting for the throne? Because they had to push the narrative of black on black crime. They had to push the narrative of Africans fighting with African Americans, Africans fighting against each other during the Civil War. The hate that they love to project about us against each other was very prominent in this movie. If you notice, the only time there was a fight between whites and blacks was when Killmonger killed Eric Claw. That was it. That was it. That was it. And the reason why Eric Claw was in there as a German is because if you've been paying close attention to current events, the German government is not a Donald Trump supporter, and the German government is now saying that it wants nothing to do with Donald Trump, and that's why Germany instead of Russia, because normally Russia is the antagonist, right? In every movie, Russia is always bad. CIA, Russia is always bad because of the Cold War. So now Germany is bad because Germany is no longer on the Donald Trump bandwagon. Everything is political. As Fred Hampton would say, everything is political. Movies is political. Clothing is political. Everything is political. And y'all have to be able to understand that everything is political. They had to make Killmonger do those excessive acts of disrespect. Otherwise, he would have been your protagonist. They know what's going on in black consciousness. They know what's going on in the Pan-African world. They watch these YouTube videos. They watching my Facebook Live. They watching my YouTube Live right now. They know Pan-Africanism is back, and they have to kill it before it takes root in Africa. Zbigniew Brzezinski. If you haven't read Zbigniew Brzezinski, please read his book, The Grand Chessboard. If you haven't read Zbigniew Brzezinski's book, Grand Chessboard, please read it. Zbigniew Brzezinski helped the Rockefellers create the Trilateral Commission for the CFR. Okay? He's a major influence on the Council of Foreign Relations itself. Okay? He's an ally of the CIA. He basically engineered Barack Obama's presidency, and he's the white man who stated out of his own mouth, okay, that the greatest threat to American interests is the political economic unification of Africans in America and Africans in Africa. I'm going to say it again. The man who created the Trilateral Commission for the Rockefellers told them and the U.S. government that the greatest threat to your foreign interests is the unification of Africans in America and Africans in Africa. In other words, there's only one thing that can destroy white supremacy. In other words, there's only one thing that can destroy white supremacy. In other words, there's only one thing that can destroy white supremacy. Not Islam, not Hebrewism, not Moorish science, not Nawapianism, not the Bible. Pan-African nationalism. Pan-African nationalism. That's why the whole movie, Black Panther, was about destroying Pan-African nationalism. And that's why Killmonger. Can I ask you a question? Let me ask y'all a question. What superhero movie can you name where the leading antagonist, the villain, can you name a Marvel movie where the lead antagonist, the villain, dies in the very first movie? Can somebody name one for me? Because when I watch Batman, and I know Batman is DC, not Marvel, but it's all white comics. But when I watch Batman, the Joker never dies. Superman, Lex Luthor never dies. Spider-Man, Green Goblin never dies. Can somebody tell me how Killmonger, the leading villain in the Black Panther movie, dies the first movie? Can somebody explain that to me? I need some help. I'm not a comic book junkie. I don't read fiction. My life is all about reality. But can somebody please tell me how Killmonger dies the first movie? Villains never die. They never die. But they killed Killmonger. Because in killing Killmonger, we symbolically killed revolutionary Pan-African nationalism. In killing Killmonger, we symbolically killed revolutionary Pan-African nationalism. This was much more than the movie. This was much more than the movie. Some of y'all don't listen. I can see some of you don't listen. So this is what I'm going to do. Since some of us don't listen, from now on, if you make a statement that is not based on what I said, if you make a statement that misrepresents what I say, I'm going to block you. I'm not just going to block haters. I'm going to block people who don't listen. I didn't say that no villains die. I said the leading antagonist rarely, if ever, dies. That's what I said. Okay? So the next time you make a statement, because your listening comprehension skill, do you need special ed? Because I got my IQ test. Y'all need me to pull out the IQ test? I think we got some special ed people on the live feed today. Because you know I am a school psychologist, okay? Anyhow, he died. And when Killmonger walked into the throne to see T'Challa for the first time, what did he say? He said, y'all living good. Killmonger said, y'all living good, but there's 2 million people, 2 billion people all over the world who look just like us. Pause. Where do y'all hear that all the time? Pause. Who says that almost every lecture that he gives? Where did you ever hear there's 2 billion people who look just like us all around the world? I could have sworn Dr. Umar Johnson says that. Anyhow, Killmonger said, y'all living good. There's 2 billion people who look like us all around the world. And y'all don't want to help them out. Remember now, Lupita was going to leave T'Challa at the beginning of the movie. Why? Why was Lupita going to leave T'Challa? Lupita was going to leave T'Challa because she said there's people who ain't got nothing. And they need help. So I got to leave Wakanda because y'all Negroes are selfish as hell. I'm leaving. Remember, Lupita was out. Lupita was out. Only reason why she stayed is T'Challa said, my father is dead and I need you. Lupita said, I'm out. She said, I want to help other Africans. I just don't want to sit here living good while the world around us is suffering. Lupita said, I'm out. She only stayed because T'Challa asked her to stay. Remember that? Lupita was out. She said, there's people suffering around the world and they need us. But what did Daniel from Get Out say? What did Daniel from Get Out say? He told T'Challa, if you let refugees into Wakanda, if you let refugees into Wakanda, it will become just like any other African country. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? That's that selfish African mentality that some of us have on that side of the Atlantic Ocean and this side of the Atlantic Ocean. That's that selfish mentality that some of us have. I got mine, you need to get yours. That is selfish. African culture is based on the philosophy that I am because we are. Ubuntu, an African concept. Ubuntu. I am because we are, and we as a people need to get back to Ubuntu. I am because we are. Daniel and T'Challa said, we don't want nobody else here. Now, Daniel was an alpha male, and he was a strong nationalist, but he was still selfish because he didn't want Pan-Africanism. But he was willing to let Killmonger be king because he wanted a strong leader who was willing to fight and not a beta male like T'Challa, who happened to be pro-CIA. The Black Panther was a pro-CIA, selfish African nationalist. The Black Panther was a pro-CIA, selfish African nationalist. Yes, the movie was great. The movie was great. We're not talking about the greatness of the cinematography. We're talking about the political messages, okay? I am a student of politics. I am not a student of entertainment. I'm looking for how this movie will be used to brainwash African children. Because let's be clear, this will be the first movie that every African in the world will watch. Let me repeat that. This will be the first movie that every African on earth will watch. This movie will go in the Guinness Book of World Records. They might watch it bootleg. They might watch it Netflix. They might watch it Amazon Prime. They might watch it on DVD. They might watch it at the movies. They might watch it at the museum. They might watch it in somebody else's house. But I promise you what? Every African on the planet will watch this movie. So we cannot ignore this movie. We cannot ignore this movie. I cannot afford African children, the next generation of revolutionaries who have to pick up the mantle after our generation put it down. I can't afford them to buy into the CIA subliminal programming. No. And I'm counting on black teachers. Please, black teachers, have a conversation about this movie with your students. Let them know. Have a whole lesson on propaganda. Because this was propaganda. What is propaganda? Warfare without weapons. What is propaganda? Warfare without weapons. And the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey said, propaganda has destroyed more people than open armies. Propaganda has destroyed more people than open armies. The Black Panther movie was propaganda. We can take the good, but let's educate our kids on the bad. Take the good and then educate the children on the bad. That's what we need to do. FDMG, we will have a whole class on Black Panther. A whole semester will be spent decoding the movie, dealing with it politically, culturally, spiritually, psychologically, and dealing with the spiritual side. What I find real interesting, most of us in America are Muslims and Christians, right? We're biblical and Quranic people. The Bible in the Quran does not in any way, shape, or form endorse nor educate about ancestral veneration. But as you can see in the movie Black Panther, in order to become king, everyone had to lay down in the soil and astral project to the heavens of the ancestors and have a conversation before they rule, right? How many parents who took their children to see Black Panther? How many black parents who took our young brothers and sisters to see Black Panther? How many Christian mothers and fathers, how many Muslim mothers and fathers are willing and comfortable with having a conversation with their children about ancestral veneration? Because it was clearly present in this movie. And I'm glad it was. That's why this movie, you could build a whole curriculum. And I'm going to do a curriculum. I'm going to let y'all know right now. The Prince of Pan-Africanism will be building a curriculum, a study guide around the Black Panther movie. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. I have to. I have to. Okay? And you won't get FDMG's curriculum, but I will give you the Black Panther's curriculum. Yes. I'm going to do a curriculum. It's too much here. You could deal with the political, the CIA, Shaka Zulu, the Kingdom of Lesotho, the issues in South Africa. What's going on in South Africa right now? The South African Parliament passed a resolution to take the land back from the white colonizers. Because as you know, when apartheid fell in 94, the power that the white man had in South Africa still has not fallen. So here we are, 94 to over 25 years after apartheid, and finally the ruling government and the economic freedom fighters, all of the people of Black South Africa are saying we want the land back. This is powerful. That's why this movie had to come out, because they need to stop Joseph Malema from meeting with Dr. Umar Johnson. They need to stop the ANC Youth League from building with Team Pan-African. That's why this movie had to come out now, because Africa is rising and they have to disrupt any chance of the Pan-Africanist in America uniting with the Pan-Africanist in Africa. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The red, black, and green will rise again. The red, black, and green will rise again. Few more points. Okay. I also thought it was interesting how anybody who didn't like white folks were demonized. And that, of course, would be M'Baku, as well as Eric Killmonger, and to some extent, Daniel from Get Out. Okay. All of the protagonists was in love with the CIA man. Look at that. Ain't that brilliant? We're going to make a movie, and we're going to put the #1 destroyer of African political foundations, the CIA, the #1 killer of African leaders, the #1 financier of African coups, and we're going to make the protagonists fall in love with the CIA. We're going to make the CIA protect the black woman from the black man. And then they're going to bring the CIA into the heart of their country. Look at this. They're going to bring the CIA, the same organization that killed Lumumba, overthrew Nkrumah, assassinated Maurice Bishop, Malcolm, King, okay, Fred Hampton, potentially as well because of the internationalism of the Panthers. And we're going to make him the hero. The CIA saves the day. And y'all want me to believe that the military's fingerprints wasn't on this movie? You out your damn mind. Every African child will see a movie where the CIA is saving black people, even though in reality, they do nothing but kill black people. So brothers and sisters, I got a whole bunch of notes from when I watched the movie. Okay. And let's not forget, for those of you who think it's a far cry for this movie to be propaganda, even though the CIA been investing in movies through propaganda since 1947, even though the CIA has an entertainment industry liaison, let us also keep in mind that the CIA had a program called MK Ultra Mind Control. Don't forget the CIA's MK Ultra Mind Control program. And don't forget that the principles that the CIA learned about mind control, they apply it to the movies that they finance out of Hollywood. Did you know that the CIA and the FBI control over 200 periodicals, magazines, and newspapers? They finance movies. Why you think every time America goes to war with somebody, like 10 movies come out about the country they don't like? Remember all the movies you saw about Russia? Crimson Tide, when they was going to war with Russia, like 10 Russian movies come out. Remember that? Now they Afghanistan and Iraq. Look at all the movies we didn't seen about Afghanistan and Iraq. Okay? 13 Hours, The Hunt for Bin Laden, Lone Survivor. Every time you turn around, it's a new movie coming out about the war in Iraq. That's what the CIA does. They have to do what? Create public opinion. That's why we got to have the curriculum that I'm going to build for FDMG. Our children will look at a movie and they will know why the movie was made. If you can't look at a movie and determine why the movie was made, then your political, analytical skills are horrible. You should be able to look at Black Panther and say, I know exactly why they made this movie. You're not a child. You can't afford to be caught all up in the hoops and the coops and the African clothes and this and that. No, you got to look for the meat. Why did they make this movie? Every creation has intent. Everything is pragmatic in white supremacy. You got to be able to evaluate and decode the purpose of the program. You got to be able to evaluate and decode the purpose of the program. So where do we go from here? I'm going to tell you where we go from here. They're going to make an LGBT Black Panther, and then a lot of other people are going to come up with black superheroes. And about 10, 20 years from now, the hype and hoopla you have around Black Panther will no longer exist, because one thing that the white man is a master of doing, he's the master of oversaturating anything of substance so it is no longer useful to the people who could benefit from it. I'm going to repeat what I just said, and I want you to listen. I'm going to repeat what I just said, and I want you to listen. I'm going to repeat what I just said, and I want you to listen. I said, whenever the white man allows anything that is psychologically empowering to Black African people to be created, to prevent that thing from being used as a weapon of mass construction, to prevent that thing from being used to help Black people gain liberation, after he lets you have a feel-good session with it, he then turns right around and uses that same thing to destroy you and to also make it useless by oversaturating it to the point where you don't want to see it no more. 20 years from now, when the 6th Black Panther movie come out, you might not even go see it because he's going to oversaturate your ass with it so it don't even mean anything for you anymore. This is what he does. He did it with Malcolm X. Remember the Malcolm X movie came out? Everybody was like, Malcolm, Malcolm, Malcolm. So guess what the white men started doing? Everything was Malcolm. Malcolm X hat, Malcolm X t-shirt, Malcolm X panel discussion, Malcolm X this, Malcolm X that. In other words, the white man takes it and turns it into a financial vehicle to the point where it turns Black people off and you don't even want to be bothered with it no more. So we had to do what? Let his oversaturation of Malcolm X die down, and now we can recreate Malcolm on our terms. We can reintroduce Malcolm to the community on our terms. We can now venerate and honor Malcolm's true legacy on our terms. You have to understand politics. You have to understand politics. This is what he's going to do with Black Panther. So at some point, we're going to have to create our own black superhero to counteract the negative messages that he's going to put in Black Panther. And now that we got Ta-Nehisi Coates and Roxanne Gay homosexualizing the Black Panther story, it's going to become even more important for us to create our own alternative to it, because it's about to get oversaturated and it's going to be homosexualized. These are the facts. They did the same thing to hip hop. You're absolutely right. They did the same thing to hip hop. When hip hop was just us, it was so unique and everybody was feeling it. The white man got it, turned it into gangster rap, brought all the white rappers in. Now he brought all the gay rappers in. Now people don't want nothing to do with hip hop. Original, classical hip hop. Okay? Not rapping over an R&B beat, but the true creative hip hop. He does this with everything. He does this with everything. Talking about we shouldn't ask for no reparations. Talking about we shouldn't ask for no reparations. You out your mind. I'm definitely going to get reparations. I want to say this, though. I don't think Black Panther's success is because of the Black Panther himself. Because even Chadwick Boseman said that he really believes Killmonger was right. Chadwick Boseman even said, the Black Panther said, he agreed with Killmonger more than T'Challa. He said it. Chadwick Boseman said Killmonger was right. So everybody knows that the fix was in, even the Black Panther. Okay? But what sold Black Panther was the fact that African people here, there, and everywhere could see their ancestral homeland portrayed in a positive light. And that's why we went to see it 3, 4, 5 times. It wasn't the hero. You're not crazy about Black Panther. You're crazy about the Africa that they showed us in Black Panther. Let me say it again. This movie is not successful because of the superhero. The movie is successful because of the cinematography. A beautiful country. Nobody's starving. Nobody's killing. Nobody's hungry. Nobody's destitute. Nobody's running around naked like they love to make us think our people are. Nobody's running around with a white Jesus, because you ain't got nothing but white Jesus in Africa. We didn't see nothing negative about ourselves. For the first time, we saw nothing but positivity about Africa. And that's why brothers and sisters are calling me up. Dr. Umar, I'm going with you to Africa this year. Black Panther motivated me to go to Africa with you this year so I can appreciate Ryan Coogler and Michael B. and Lupita. I can appreciate what they did, because there's people who are going to go to Africa now who never would have thought of it, because Black Panther gave it to us in a positive light. That's why this movie is a success. That's why it must be watched. I'm going to buy it when it comes out. Not because I agreed with the mission. I know what the mission was. Divide and conquer. That was the mission. Separate continental blacks from American Africans. That was the mission. I understand, and understand that. But I cannot allow it to be lost on my consciousness that this is the first movie ever. Yes, it was a fairy tale, but still, the mind can't tell the difference between make-believe and real. When you watch Wakanda, for those of you who understand mental science, when our babies watch Wakanda, their brain cannot determine that this ain't real. The brain cannot distinguish between real and imagined. That's why when you close your eyes and experience anything, you have a physiological reaction to it, the same as if you actually experienced it. So although the movie was not real, the experience in the minds of African children was very much real. It was very real. They want to go to Africa now, and you must take them. And when they get to Africa, you have to explain to them. And even before they get to Africa, you have to explain to them, why isn't the Congo the world's largest repository of real vibranium known as coltan, the real electromagnetic device that makes technology possible? Why isn't the Congo a Wakanda? Why isn't Nigeria a Wakanda? Nigeria has some of the largest untapped reserves of gas and oil. Nigeria is one of the most minerally rich countries on the face of the earth. The Congo is the richest country on the face of the earth. Why is it not a Wakanda? Why isn't Ethiopia a Wakanda? Why isn't South Africa, where our brothers and sisters own almost none of the wealth, why is it not a Wakanda? If this is the continent of wealth, if we have what the whole world needs, why are we not a Wakanda? Well, guess what, brothers and sisters? I'm motivated to make Africa a real Wakanda. That's right. The Pan-African nationalist job. You know what our job is? Our job is to take the fairy tale of the Wakandan state and make it an international reality for all African people. The job of the revolutionary Pan-African nationalist is to take the idea of Wakanda, a minerally rich, technologically advanced nation, and replicate that all across the Pan-African empire. Who want to help me do it? Who want to help me do it? I told y'all the repatriation task force is still going to take place. 90 days in Africa. We're going to live there, and we're going to lay the foundation for a real Wakanda. Where's our brothers and sisters in the technological industry who want to take that energy back to Africa and help us build up technologically a heaven on earth in Africa? It's time for a real Wakanda. And if you're wondering why Wakanda rhymes with Uganda, if you're wondering why Wakanda rhymes with Uganda, it's because the original Wakanda was located, according to the comic book, extremely close to that area of the world known as Uganda. But they don't want to give you Uganda, so they called it Wakanda. They don't want to give you Idi Amin, who made those white boys get on their knees. Idi Amin, who kicked out those racist East Indians because they didn't want to hire black folks. Oh, they don't want to give you Pan-Africanist Idi Amin. No, he wasn't perfect, but neither is Obama. Barack Obama killed more people than any African leader you can name. Barack Obama killed more people than any African leader you can name. But you won't condemn Obama because the white man gave him to you. You won't condemn T'Challa because the white man gave him to you. So go ahead with that stuff. Okay? But Wakanda is Uganda. And Uganda, ironically, is also implicated in the war for the Congo's coltan, the real vibranium. Uganda is implicated in that. Rwanda is implicated in that as well. So everything in this movie was symbolic for a reason. Even the first fighting scene. Remember, the Black Panther never fought no white folks in this movie. The Black Panther never fought no white folks. The only person who fought white folks was Killmonger when he killed Claw. The first scene of the Black Panther, he's fighting what? Human traffickers. Did y'all see that? Why did they put human trafficking in this movie? Why did they put human trafficking in this movie? Let me tell you why they put human trafficking in this movie. Because America is preparing to invade Nigeria and other minerally rich countries under the pretext of human trafficking and terrorism. Let me say it again. The reason the first fight scene in the movie was T'Challa versus some African gangsters who were trafficking humans is because America is now trying to paint Nigeria and other African nations as bastions of human trafficking. And they plan to invade these African nations, not for human trafficking, for gas and oil, because Nigeria won't give America what America wants. So they're going to pay some CIA agents to pay some gangsters to traffic some kids, just like they did in Nigeria with the 200 missing girls. And then America, through the CIA, is going to invade Nigeria to make the world safe for democracy. So they had to implement that scene in the movie. So our children and you are already conditioned to expect a military invasion in Nigeria, because in the Black Panther movie, the Black Panther had to catch and destroy some African human traffickers. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. In conclusion, brothers and sisters, because we've been at this for 3.5 hours, I've kept you as long as I need to. This was my first YouTube live. Make sure you click that subscribe button on YouTube. Okay, for my Facebook family, this might be my very last Facebook seminar. From now on, you got to go to YouTube. For my Facebook family, this may very well be my very last Facebook Live. You may have to go to YouTube. Okay, I'm going to do a part 2. Dr. Umar did not cover everything. This is only part 1. I'm going to do a part 2 of Black Panther. But this is enough for y'all. You got 3.5 hours of original content. See, one thing about me, I don't watch other people's videos because I don't really think they have much I can learn from them. I'll watch ancestor videos, Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, Amos, Wilson, but I don't watch none of the Hoteppers. I'm not going to learn anything, not what I want to learn. Okay, so all my content is original, but they're going to watch mine and they're going to study mine. And you're going to hear a lot of what was told today regurgitated from other people. Because as a Leo, you are the sun. And everyone is drawn to the rays of the sun. Brothers and sisters, please continue to donate to the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy. Money orders and checks payable to FDMG Academy. Make sure you include your phone number, your mailing address, and your email on your donation. Send it in to FDMG Academy, P.O. Box 6872, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19132. Black parents, if any of you need a private consultation for your child, I charge $50 for private consultations. You can email me, text me, or WhatsApp me for private consultations. I do not check my Instagram or Facebook inboxes often. I do not check my Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter inboxes often. So if you need to get to me, I suggest you text it or you email it. Okay? But you can follow me on Facebook, Dr. Umar Ifatunde, on Instagram at Dr. Umar Johnson, also on Twitter at Dr. Umar Johnson. Send your resumes in to fdmgresumes@gmail.com, fdmgresumes@gmail.com. A quick update on the school. Right now, I'm looking at 4 locations: Trenton, New Jersey; Wilmington, Delaware; Atlanta, Georgia; Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I repeat, Trenton, New Jersey; Wilmington, Delaware; Atlanta, Georgia; Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. But the show is not over. The show is not over because we have not paid for a building yet. So if you are next to a school building, if you know of a school for sale that is not very large and is not very raggedy, that is not very small, not very large, and it is not raggedy, that has a for sale sign on it, please take a picture of the school, a picture of the for sale sign. Make sure the phone number is on there of the agent I need to contact. Okay? And please text or email that to me. I am still looking. I didn't get no referrals from Florida. I didn't get no referrals from Ohio. I'm surprised. I thought Florida and Ohio. Virginia, I got no school referrals from Virginia. Okay? A lot of you have not helped in this process. A lot of others of you have helped. Detroit, y'all have a lot of schools, but for some reason, it just ain't working out there for me. The Archdiocese, the Catholics of Detroit, refused to sell a school to me. So that's what happened with the Catholic schools in Detroit. But I told you, my number one choice is in Detroit. My number one choice is in Detroit, and it is the Academy of Southfield. It is the Academy of Southfield. So for my Detroit people, if you want to talk to those 2 black men that own the Academy of Southfield, maybe you know somebody who knows somebody who can call them up and say, listen, work with that brother. Work with him. We need that school because that school is waiting. It is literally waiting. But I don't know how to, you know, they're worrying about money. They're not trying to work with me at all. So, but again, I'm open. My brother's in Oakland. My sister's in Oakland. Y'all said y'all got schools in Oakland. I'll fly to LA. I'll make it a West Coast. I'll make FDMG West Coast, but you got to show me something. Okay, Kentucky. I didn't get nothing out of Kentucky. Chicago, it ain't over yet. It ain't over yet in Chicago. The school that I was looking at in Chicago, I was told by the inspector that it's going to cost too much money to get it up to code. Okay. So on that note, brothers and sisters, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. I have enjoyed it. I'm going to start doing some more seminars because I need to get some videos up on my YouTube account. Again, make sure you go to YouTube and subscribe. Make sure you like the page. Prince Ifa Tunde is the YouTube page. I repeat, Prince Ifa Tunde is the YouTube page. One love, Black family. I hope you enjoyed this seminar, and I cannot wait to come to your town. Buffalo, New York, London, England, Paris, France. Get ready for the Prince. Black Power.